I'm hungry all the time, even when I'm full. That's the comment I got on my last video from Bandanas. I'd like to thank you so much for sending in that comment. I'll tell you, I know that you're not alone in feeling that way. This last video I did where I got this comment talking about probably the lowest hanging fruit, don't eat if you're not hungry. So there's going to be a certain person experiencing that. That's a much easier place to be in than when we're talking about today's topic, feeling hungry all the time, which is not the natural state in the body, but this is something that so many people experience. Let's accept it, that this is a really difficult situation. In the response that I wrote to Bandanas, I said, this is like 95th percentile difficult here. I would just say, let's not rush past that and let's sit with that for a bit. Because I think this is one of the key problems, really one of the key health problems that we have in our society, is that people get into this place and it feels hopeless to get out of it. They say, look, I've watched every video, I've done everything, I'm doing all these things to move forward and nothing is helping me get out of it. And that feeling, feeling hungry can be so intense, it can feel overwhelming to get out of it. So a saying was coming to my mind. I don't remember the exact quote, but basically the idea is, what we resist persists, and what we accept can dissipate. Maybe you can come up with some times where this isn't true, but I think many times it's true. When we are resisting something, when we're fighting against it, part of what we're also doing is we're validating it. We're acknowledging this is a fearsome opponent. It has control over me. It is powerful. Part of what we can do when we come to accept something, if we're not fighting it anymore, we're not sending any energy back at it. We're not validating it. We're just letting it be. We're letting it sit there. I think this is how we can let it dissipate. When we accept a thing, we can start, maybe it's even in the very tiniest way, but we can start to gain some control over it. Instead of that thing controlling us, we're pushing back, we're fighting against it. Oh my gosh, this hunger is overwhelming. All of a sudden we start to get more objective. We start to accept it. We see this is the reality. This thing is here. I'm not judging it. I'm not fighting it. It's here. It's a reality. All of a sudden you're starting, do you see the vantage point is changing? That your relationship to it is changing. From that sort of dynamic, you can start approaching it with a mindset of overcoming it without fighting it. I really encourage anybody who's trying to lose weight, read this book, The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. This is not a weight loss book. It's just a book on overcoming challenges. I use that book as basically the basis for this other video I did, overcoming weight loss obstacles, where I was climbing up this mountain and giving reflections on heading right at an obstacle and overcoming it. I think it's such a powerful framework. How do you do that? How do you head right at an obstacle from a place of acceptance and the reality of the difficulty with it? The perspective I'm going to give you today, which I think is the most powerful framework that I've found to approach this, is journaling. Journaling is something that I've found to be very powerful in my life. It's something that I had many counselors and people tell me that I should do. And it took me years to start doing it. I actually ended up collecting journals. I had a stack of empty journals. I found it very hard to start for whatever reason. Well, many people do. The day I started writing in a journal, the only thing I just wrote, I have no idea what to write. And I just wrote that into the journal and stared at it for what seemed like quite a while. And that was day one. And then I'd just come back, but that broke the ice. You can write anything into a journal. You could write something on this topic. I really struggle with hunger. I feel hungry all the time. Even when I'm full, I'm feeling hungry. I hate that I feel this way. Why do I feel this way? Why do I have to struggle like this all the time? Right? If whatever those thoughts are, get them out into the journal. You're starting to separate the thoughts from yourself. We're trying to pull those out so that we can look at them objectively. It's how you can start to process them in a healthy way and move away from it. Change how you're thinking about these thoughts. Start thinking some new thoughts. Pretty much all of our reality is shaped by our thoughts. If we change our thinking, we can change our thoughts, change ultimately our experience and our reality. This is the type of thing that we have to do if we want to change our relationship with food, change our experience of hunger. It's a very powerful state of mind to get to. Counseling, okay. Journaling is basically becoming your own therapist, right? Maybe you'd rather work with a therapist, also highly recommended. Journaling, free though. I think it's the most powerful. It's your journal, right? You don't have to be afraid to write into it. I know I've felt afraid to write things in a journal. I think, why? It's just for you. So you can do whatever you want with it. Sometimes I've told people, put every frustration into there. Sometimes you start heading into, why do we really feel the way we feel? Why are we having the experience we're having? I mean, it can get pretty difficult. It can be hard to write things like that in there. I tell people, get it all out into that journal. You don't have to keep it. You could burn it. I've had a lot of people who, after my bringing up that idea, they say it's so out of the box, I never thought about it. I've had them burn the journal. Just got all that frustration out and then burn it up, and it's gone. It can be very therapeutic, so whatever works for you. What I can tell you is that feeling constantly hungry all the time is not the natural state of the body. And what I'll say is that even if you've always felt that way, maybe you've always felt that way for your entire life, that doesn't mean you always will feel that way. It doesn't mean that change isn't possible. I'm not saying that transforming your experience like that is easy, but I have seen people do it, and it is possible. And everything that I'm talking about in this hunger series is geared toward helping people do that. All the previous videos, laying the groundwork for it. Here, I'm trying to really dive into the mental work that it can take to change your thinking and therefore change your experience about it. Not trying to sugarcoat anything. And I've not found a magic wand, that can just change that. But I do have many other thoughts on this, and I'm going to continue to explore those on this channel. I'd very much like to have dialogue with people about their experience with this type of thing. Feel free to share any reflections you have on these thoughts in the comments. I'd be very happy to have a chat about it, and I'll look forward to seeing you back here soon.